Hi there, I'm Troy Gua, visual artist and designer from Seattle, Washington. And I make all kinds of work with a really wide range of media, and some of it's difficult to describe. For instance, Le Petit Prince, or LPP for short, is a project I've been working on for over 8 years. It celebrates the genius of Prince Rogers Nelson, my biggest inspiration and artistic hero. Now, over the years, it's gotten a lot of questions and comments, and there's been some misunderstandings about what it is and what it isn't, and I've made other videos explaining, but I feel like it's still misunderstood, so I thought it was time to, once again, maybe answer some of those questions and address some of those rumors and get into it. So, shall we?
Is that a Prince doll? How do I get one?
So I get that it looks like a doll, but it really isn't, and I'm sorry, but you can't get one because there is only one. LPP is a one-of-a-kind, ever-evolving prop and the subject of a series of surreal photographs. Photographs that I create to tell the story of Prince. Photographs that I painstakingly set, stage, light, and shoot. So while I do get that folks would love to have their own LPP, it's important for me that they understand why they can't, and that they understand what the project is and the backstory, and that this is art, which you can have, by the way. LPP is art, photos, limited edition prints, and books are available.
Yeah, but didn't Prince sue you? I heard he hated your work.
Prince did not sue me. I did receive a cease and desist letter from his legal team in November of 2012, which in some circles is considered a purple badge of honor, but that is not the same as being sued. It's a threat to sue, and in my case it was about the sale of merchandise that contained the name Prince and allegedly infringed upon existing intellectual property. I was totally bummed about it at the time and made that known. Then the story got picked up by Spin magazine and sensationalized a little bit, and kind of ended having people pitting us against each other, me versus Prince, which wasn't fair for either one of us. I could have fought the threat and likely won due to fair use law and parody, but what I did next is something I'd like to think he would have been proud of. I pivoted, I made a Le Petit Troy, and I used my own likeness in a new photography series wherein I became the subject of all my hero fantasies. And I posed tiny me as Prince and as Warhol and Bowie and Picasso and Luke Skywalker, etc. In the process, I grew and the photography got better, and at some point I revisited Le Petit Prince and I began posting LPP images again. This time I was careful not to make recreations of existing artwork or point his name towards anything for sale, and I never heard another word from his legal team. Now, as far as his personal opinion of the work, he never said anything about it publicly, and a cease and desist letter does not equal a personal opinion. Speculation is pointless, and Prince was notorious for changing his mind and direction on a whim, and he never even got to see what the project has become or the work that I've done in his absence. So to say that he didn't like what I do is unnecessarily hurtful and inherently inaccurate. He probably did confide with folks at some point about the project, but even if that were to become known, it's just hearsay now, and it would be addressing my work from then, not now. 4 years after his passing and 8 years after the cease and desist letter. So,
Yeah, but don't you think calling him petite upset him?
well, I hope not. It shouldn't have. It refers to LPP size, not Prince's. LPP is about 12 inches tall, and he is Le Petit Prince. He's like his own entity playing the role of Prince in the photography series. Does that make sense? By the way, petit is just French for little. It's not the feminine clothing term petite, like some have mistaken it. Also, the title Le Petit Prince is a nod to the children's book by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, and that reference is meant to kind of bring to mind the sense of youthful nostalgia which I associate with Prince for me. And it's French, so it sounds fancy, right? And I never even really considered that Prince would be insulted by it. He refers to himself as small in more than one song, and I have to admit, though, that the added layer, because of his size, is welcome, because I'm all about layers and multiple meanings.
What do you mean by telling the story of Prince with photography?
Well, just like the figure LPP, the project itself has evolved over time. And for a few years now, I've been working chronologically, meaning I make and post images that portray, in order of occurrence, narrative events from Prince's life and the timeline of his career. And I use passages from books, interviews from magazines, and such as captions for the images. The first trip through Prince's life, I was using 3 to 5 images to capture 1 year of his life. But then I reached a conundrum. The timeline ended, and I didn't really know what to do. So I decided to time warp him back to the mid-70s and start again. But this time I'm lingering and enjoying the refresher course and the continued education that the research brings. This project helps me continue to learn about Prince. It's coming up on 40 years I've been a fan, follower, student of Prince, and there's always something new to learn. And he's endlessly fascinating, and he provides a never-ending fount of inspiration. And I just hope that this project can, in some small way, help to carry on the legacy of Prince and tell his amazing story.
Do you take requests?
No.
What's this Club LPP thing?
Oh, it's my subscription membership club via Patreon that allows me to share more intimately the project with a loving and supportive community of Prince and art lovers. And their monthly pledges help me continue the project and carry on the legacy of Prince via this unique art. And they get to see how I make these images and the objects in them, with behind the scenes making of videos and previews, and they get goodies and keepsakes, and it's pretty cool. You should ask a 7 or just check it out yourself. Go to patreon.com/clublpp. And let's see what else. There's probably more questions that I haven't answered about LPP and the project, but I'm always available to discuss this labor of love online. If you want to come find me on Instagram at Troy Gua, TROYGUA, or on Facebook at Troy Gua Art. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Be well, be safe, be kind. Prince forever.